Welcome, guys. Let's get us all situated. Welcome to Unique but Normal, to this little session, this little time to connect, to come together. Whether this is the first time you're here or whether you have listened to this before, whether you are live with me now or whether you are listening to this some other time, it is closing into just a little month before we have our next retreat, both in Norway live and and online. So that's gonna be interesting, be fun too. So we're kind of setting this intention, setting this new space, if you must. We're kind of drinking of the chalice of wisdom. That is our intention. We are creating a space of ease. We are stepping into our being. We are allowing for simplicity to kind of come into our life. So I will explain more when we open up our life. We open up our life. We get born. We we have a childhood. We have a teenage. We become a teenager. Then we are we are kind of stepping in. We're kind of being born from the no thought into thought. We're seeing the world, becoming aware of the different identities, of different personalities, the different bodies, the different lives of living that is being lived. So then of course we will start to kind of, like a monkey, we kind of tune in with our mom or our dad or our brothers or our sisters or our friends or in school or grandparents. We are kind of tuning in and we're like living in their kind of presence of their identities, the ways they carry themselves. So in their bodies they carry themselves, and they can carry themselves very different. So you can see, like, they can be like, oh my god, this person is a unique person, this person is very like this and that. So you can see everybody's kind of becomes unique. But at the same time you see it in family that as we kind of just hang out, we all just become also very normal. That there's an ease to flow. Everybody's still, even if somebody's special, somebody's unique like this, somebody's a medical doctor or a model or or I've created the most extravagant electrical device in the world, or they're the greatest mom. We're all sitting around the same table. So we are still just letting each other be in the space. That is where the ease comes in. That's where the being, we're all normal in the aspect of being. So we start, but yet we start to kind of adapt to these ideas. We start to see that we might be a woman or a man. We might be smart, we might be not smart, or we kind of create all these, we test out these ideas, these identities. And then it becomes like a politic, becomes serious, or it just becomes identities. So the difference now and or before, but still, it has always been free for people to, pull away from society into the mountains, just becoming some. They can be a bird. They can live like an animal. They can live like a monk. Now consciousness is more awake in a way, it's more open, it's more democratic, it's more available. All the thoughts are available online. So we suddenly have more choices. And then we get confused about, so that creates confusion. So we actually feel more confused. We're like an adult at birth. So that's kind of confusing because, our parents like to treat us as a child, depending on what kind of upbringing you have. So then we will start looking at getting stability. We feel the confusion. We feel everybody around. Remember when I came into, primary school, I could feel all the confusion. Everybody seemed afraid. People are afraid of not having a stability. When we're just with mom and dad, we feel stable. When we're doing the same, we feel like a sense of stability, normalness, normality. So then when there suddenly is like, yeah, we go to school, we get more people, we kind of go out there, out into the world. We go out into the world. Go out into the world. Hold on here a second. Yeah. I went out into the world. so we kind of test out this body, test out our grown-upness. We are given freedom to go out and find our own life, to find our own identity. Go out and find your identity. So then we see, well, we can become an identity like our mom or our dad or like our friends in school. Or there's many other identities. So there's a confusion. So we feel this confusion but then suddenly we're like, oh, I feel something here. It could just be whatever. You can literally feel connected to whatever. It can be like a hobby. Or my brother, he kind of liked this and he wanted to go camping, and then after half an hour be like, no, we're done. I never use that equipment again. So we try to look for, where do we feel good? So we can be searching too much. So when we're working up for like an identity, so we're searching through the body with just what makes sense, what's closest to us. So then we see an identity like, oh, I'm gonna work on having those clothes, or be a girl, or be a boy, or being a soccer person, or becoming a doctor. So we start like testing it out. We can be like, oh, okay. Then we start to dare to kind of go for it. It feels good. You suddenly have a purpose. You're putting your energy into it. You're there to claim it, walk it. But then you can walk very hard. So small kids, when they take suddenly when I was little, you see pictures of me suddenly becoming a soccer player when I was like 2 or 3 years old, because my older brother played soccer. So on the side, I had the whole equipment. I looked very focused. So it feels good. You're like focused. You have a purpose. So then you're embodying it. And then later I realized that, yeah, that soccer seemed to like all the games, all the competition, I could do it for a while, but it gradually felt like it wasn't totally fulfilling me. So you have to test it out. You have to kind of go in there. Then you have to feel. You have to stop to feel. That's where people, when they just kind of go into the bodies, they go into an identity and they push hard, and they can, some people do it for 10 years, some people for 20, 30, 40, or the same job or same life or the same hobby. They push, it feels good, but then suddenly one day they retire and be like, oh, maybe it was nice to not do it, or maybe actually I wanted a different life. Maybe it wasn't for me. So you realize it after 40 years or 50 or 60 or 70. So then you suddenly feel like, oh, I didn't have to chase that dream so much. So the dreams or the identity can be a chase. When you push, you go skiing every day, or do yoga every day, or meditate every day, or you have to eat this every day, or you have to have these thoughts every day. You have to do this self-evaluation every day. It becomes like this pushing, these thoughts, but then you use the energy pushing. You go out like karate, like very kind of rough. You're expanding the energy in the body, and it becomes uplifted. But at this level of energy, you will start noticing, if you start relaxing, you should start listening as well. So that's kind of what we're doing here. We're listening, because this expansion is like becoming unique. We're taking an identity. It feels good. Oof. But then we're here to kind of find ease and relaxation, to kind of collaborate with yourself. We kind of start drinking from the chalice of wisdom already. So we're not just going from the body, we're also kind of seeing, where are we? What is the intention? Where are we headed? Are we just burning this energy? When we're burning, that becomes like a sense of frustration, it becomes like a forceful action of energy. So it kind of becomes circular, because in a way we're doing it, but then we're feeling it. So that's the heart. Then we're seeking for acceptance. Are they accepting us as a doctor, or am I? But then everybody can accept me, my role, but am I accepting it? So to truly embrace it, you have to kind of accept it. So then you kind of dare to love it. You're trying to like embrace it. So you hold this idea, but then eventually, as you retire, you have to let the energy pass through. You kind of have to, when you come into the mind, you have to kind of let it go, let your identity go. You have to surrender, retire the identity. Because when you're just holding on, it becomes an anger, but then it becomes a love. But it's still an energy of desperation, still a forceful energy. And then eventually you have to retire it to kind of find peace, and then let the energy go through into ease, and then it kind of goes through, and then you are suddenly at ease. That way, kind of the masculine, the earthy way, is kind of where people retire, or people suddenly become their great guru, or they become very peaceful when they're 60, 70, 80, and then they're like, I had one, she's like, wow, I found peace when I was 70, like in my relationship, but my self-identity, because you let it go, you found something that fit you. You start holding on to it. So this energy is like pushing upwards, expanding out. So this energy kind of creates a lot of, force into the body. So what we're kind of doing here, we're drinking off the chalice of wisdom again. It means that we're kind of looking at what kind of soothes and what kind of creates ease into the body as well, not just through the mind and through realization and letting go, surrender, but when we kind of see from spirit, we let it from non-thought. That's where being is. So we're allowing being to come into the mind, that we could see all these identities, but we have more. So we can push out towards, do I want to do this? Or like the mind forces out. Then we can test it. We can be like, we can make love to it and be like, feel it. And then you can feel love to it. But then you can see that there's many ways. You're not. You might realize that don't really get to be. You're not going to find peace just being unique. The being is very normal. It's very without force. So we're allowing kind of the feminine or the water to come in, the non-forceful, the effortless. So we're allowing this to kind of come in at the same time. So then you start to realize that you can do many things, but what comes normal to you? What comes normal to you is different than others. Some people just, I was a medical doctor, I'm a teacher, I'm a washer, I'm a cleaner, I'm a mom, I make food, everybody has their suddenly something that it just comes. I'm a hairdresser, it just comes natural to you. So it's normal. So it comes from a place of ease. It's come from a place of being, something you can be, embody from a place of effortlessness. So then you allow it to kind of come into the heart. You let it be felt, but not felt too much. Just enjoy it. And then then we have to walk it. It comes down. We have to walk it like a small child. But here there's more energy coming in when we're allowing both these circles to coexist. So we're actually allowing the whole energy body to awaken, which is different than just doing. That kind of squeezes the energy. Here we're allowing the energy to be received. So it opens up more energy, and thus there's a different process where we can step into it, we can walk, we can run it, but we also want to let it rest and relax so that we can, instead of just be it or do it, then the body needs to empty out so we can embrace it. We can walk it from ease. We can walk like an old man or like a baby. We could just walk gently. So from spirit, from your being, you want to be, there's an energy of grace, of ease, of gentleness, of kindness towards yourself. So that's when you can embody body being. You can embody, but then you can be an identity. You can be a teenager. You can be a grown-up. People can place you. You can be a man, a woman, or asexual or whatever. But when you find a place of just letting it be something natural as well, then this uniqueness is at ease, and it's not out of force, and then you can just enjoy it. So then the body being is something we enjoy, and then that is where we can then we create a whole different body, because the body just empties out more and more. So we can allow to listen to our uniqueness, but also our normalness. We can be in our family, we can be up on the stage, but we can also just be one of the crowd. We can just be one of no one. We can be a no one, nobody as well. So we are both. So we need, the embodied mind and body is to both mind, body being. We embody both the masculine and feminine. So that kind of requires a little bit more maturity, because we kind of have to open up to the journey. I took you through a little journey here, because the path of identity, the path into being is a journey, because it takes the time to kind of see all the identities that we kind of embody as a little baby, from our mom and dad, the ideas of masculine, the ideas of feminine, ideas of being grown up, a child. What does it feel when you are happy, sad, desire, all these emotions? How can you be at ease in all these parts of life, of all these parts of your being? So just a small journey. That's why this needs to take some time, because your body has to adapt. You literally embraces and stabilizes more energy into your body. So that's why this you feel this, it's almost, it might make you kind of tired. As you listen, you might kind of close your eyes and relax your shoulders and just kind of take it in. This is like drinking of the chalice of wisdom. So wisdom comes when something is applied to life, it can be lived. It's not just a philosophy of this will make you happy, this will make you should be the first man on the moon or the first woman guru or first transgender or first president of the whole world or first all kinds. You might be, but it might not bring you ease. So then you might go do something for 20, 30, 40 years and you might realize that it actually was just a sidetrack. Was a blind, that path didn't lead you forward. It got you stuck. So then suddenly the body gets stuck, the emotions get stuck. You suddenly end up with some ailments, sickness in your body, or your emotions suddenly end up in a depression, or you end up with anxiety, or you end up with like reassessing your life and divorcing and leaving everything when you're 40 or 50 or 60, and not having to buy a Ferrari when you're, marrying a 20-year-old when you're 80. So people are used to kind of that this is kind of just, we're searching identity, but in a way when we return to being, then the identity is just something extra. It's just frosting of the cake. It's not so important. The cake is still good without frosting. It takes maturity to embrace both sides of life, both the uniqueness of life, but also the normalcy of life. So that's when we are allowing ourselves. So this last part, we usually kind of just close our eyes, and we might have done that already if you're an old timer here, because it's kind of energy coming in, or it's just kind of a soothing feeling coming in, and you might just want to lower your shoulders and drop your hips and just letting this come into your body. This wisdom is not just words, it's also an energy connection, an energy awakening. It can lead you on this journey, gradually opens up this channel upwards, but also downwards. So there's different pathways that needs to open so that we can let it flow through the hips, down through the feet, all the way onto the toes, so everything can start relaxing. The bones, the ligaments, the skin, the muscles, everything is getting nourished by this energy when it comes from ease. And then from that earth, it comes up into your groin, up into your chest. Yeah. And then it kind of is almost like a cat just stretching up into your head, up into that yawn, when it just the surrender, the receiving, the daring to receive. And then it comes down again. And then we cough it out. We're letting it go. Just a beautiful hang. And if you felt this energy and you want to give back, then sometimes people give on Venmo or on Vips or PayPal or whatever they feel like, or they might reach out and say hi and inquire more. When is this retreat in August in Norway, or can I join it online, or what's going on with this book? Is it out? Yes, it is out. It's coming, more information, some interviews, some fun stuff coming out to kind of lavish in this space of being. So beautiful. Well, thank you for joining me, whether you are here now or later. If you see it later, please drop a comment. If you are not following me yet, you can follow me on YouTube or on Instagram. Hit subscribe or hit the bell or whatever they're doing. You can come into my stories on Instagram and see me where I live, how I live my life. And if you're like, "Ooh, where's this book?" At least it's in America for now. It might come to Norway. I bought some books for Norway for the Norwegian retreat, but you can order it in America if you like. It is a beautiful little energy adjustment. Good, perfect. Well, thank you, and I'm looking forward to hear who's seeing this in the next coming weeks. It's kind of we're in July, and we're kind of seeing how this space is awakening. It's fun to see new people coming in, people that have been doing all kinds of stuff that are ready to receive the simplicity, the simplicity of ease, the simplicity of being. Anyway, I wish you guys a beautiful day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.